One of the hardest things to accomplish and pull off as a filmmaker is to do that very thing that we love, which is to make films. Early on, from conception of whatever idea that it is that you have, all the way to post production and distribution, it's always just going to be a hard feat to pull off, especially if you're doing it by yourself. If you have any form of idea or anything that you envision, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to just get a piece of paper, a notebook, or whatever you use to write down, and to just start jotting down your ideas as much as you possibly can. We also become overwhelmed with how big we envision these projects to be, which is perfectly normal. The only thing that we can't do is just stay stuck there. Once we become stuck, it becomes paralysis by analysis. This project that I'm talking about is called Somber, which just so happens to be my first short film that I released back in February, which is based on a relatable emotion that every human, I believe, shares, which is based on grief and loss. This story was brought to me by a person who shall remain anonymous, but had the courage to have their story told. And I am only honored to be able to just tell this story all together. Both approached this project as a mini documentary, and quickly we realized that a mini doc probably wouldn't come across as impactful as it would a narrative. I personally felt that sit-down interviews and B-roll wouldn't bring this message across as much as it did with someone just sitting down and talking to you. Not saying that many documentaries aren't as impactful as narratives, but I feel like the story could have been told a different way. So starting off with dialogue, I definitely didn't follow the right formality or whatever the traditional filmmaker way to write dialogue was. But like I said, going back to that moment where you just start jotting down your ideas, all I did is I just started naming the characters and putting what I think they would personally say in the moments that they're experiencing on paper. I also had a lot to feed off of, ranging from this actually being a true story and the lead actress being a spoken word poet, which made things so much easier because she was able to collaborate and give me a couple of her poems that she wrote, which fit right into the script. So that narration that you hear in the short film is actually a poem that she wrote. And this person that I'm talking about is the lead actress. Her name is Jade Chandler, an amazing, talented actress. Shout out to you, Jade. She did a phenomenal job. So after I had my rough draft for my script, I headed over to Studio Binder, and I just started to begin to finalize the script inside of there. They have a really nice template for writing your scripts, and I'm pretty sure it's something that you can get for free. I'm not entirely sure, but it was something that helped me out a lot in the process, learning how to write my own, also educating on how to properly format and write the script. Furthermore, after the script, I started pre-production and started to shot list and grab inspiration from trusted resources like ShotDeck, where I usually get all of my frames and inspiration from in general for anything that I'm doing. So after this, I started to create a mood board, and this was just to essentially create a overall vibe of the film of what it'll look and feel like. This is also where the visual language of the film starts to come to life combined with the script. So I use Milanote for all of my pre-production needs when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to crewing up, anything that you can think of that pre-pro involves, I use Milanote as the hub for that. I'm also able to share and collaborate with other creatives that are part of the project and has a say in the creative of it. After mood boarding, I begin to shot list my scenes, and that just consisted of being able to put the dialogue and even what they'll be doing underneath the ShotDeck frames that I pulled from ShotDeck to be able to just have the script be visually read. So that just makes it easier for everyone that is on crew, like directors and producers, to just see the overall image of what it is that you are looking to portray in the short film. Once everyone was on board with the mood board and the shot list, scouting locations became the next priority to be able to move forward in the whole process of creating this short film. Being able to scout locations or have tech scouts is an absolute must whenever you're trying to create any form of project or film. It's just one of those things that have to be mandatory. And if you can, it'll be best to bring the lead departments with you on these scout days so that you all are in one place, and then you have a proper planning meeting outside of Zoom or anything like that. But it's just easier to just be able to communicate and to be able to plan accordingly to whatever it is that you need. If it's any plan out your compositions that way, it just makes it so much easier for you to have everyone there. Now, all the time, people aren't going to be there, but that's just where you are able to send out possible representatives or anyone that can stand in place for a DP or gaffer or director or whatever. As long as you have the information, as long as everyone is on the same page, that's what matters most. Another personal tip that I have that a lot of people might not agree with, but if you personally own or have the camera that you're going to potentially shoot with on the day of production, just bring that camera to scout with you. You don't need the exact lens. If you have something that's remotely close enough for the lens focal length or whatever you're using, I would rather use that than my cell phone. The only reason why is because it just gives me a more accurate look of what I'm going for. As far as having it in camera, that might not always be the case. Sometimes cameras are rented and that rental day is just unnecessary to pay for production. So that's why you have the apps like CADbridge and other stuff. But sometimes if you have full control over your camera, especially if you own it, I believe, in my opinion, it'll just be better for you to bring it and to just be able to get the shots that you really think about. For example, with these scout frames that I have coming up with one of the producers and also my gaffer, this is just what I'm talking about. I'd rather have the camera on scout rather than having my phone kind of do all the work. Don't get me wrong, the phone works great. I use it all the time. But if I have the ability to bring the camera, I'm just going to bring the camera. That's my personal opinion. Maybe you're different. Who knows? While doing all this pre-production and scouting locations, I was simultaneously crewing up for the project. Pretty much I just consisted of reaching out to people that I really, really trust and that I've worked with for a couple of years now. It was an exceptionally great crew to work with. When you have people that you've been working with and they understand the assignment and they're in a headspace of being able to get the job done and also be creative, it's easy to have a light atmosphere. That's one of the things that I always try to implement when I'm on my sets, is to have a light atmosphere and to not always be so serious all the time. You can be serious when you need to be serious, but when it comes to creating something for just the fun of it, that's what it is. Just have fun. It's nothing wrong with being able to have a good time when you're creating something that is impactful as well. If it weren't for these amazing filmmakers and craftsmen of the art of film, I would have never been able to make something like this at all. So I also forgot to mention that this was all self-funded. I didn't have any form of a day rate, neither did any of the crew. The only thing that we paid for pretty much was location and Crafty. And one of the biggest things to have a good set is Crafty. That is the staple of a great set. And lunch. If you're hiring a crew, you need to feed them, especially if they aren't getting paid. Filmmakers come out to be a part of projects that they want to be a part of, but if you're not feeding them, then you're just going to end up with a cranky and grumpy crew, which is just going to make the days longer and more difficult. So don't do that. And another thing is, don't buy them pizza. If you have to buy them pizza, let that be a last resort, but let's try something else other than pizza. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. But choosing the right people are what's really important when you're choosing your crew. It can really make or break the film. I was able to have some really heavy hitters on this one, which made it just that much more qualitative for production value. So after the crew is all picked out and everything is good to go, we are finally ready to shoot, and shooting should be your easiest day. You should do all of the projects and all of the hard problem solving beforehand. This has probably been one of the easiest and simultaneously most challenging projects I had to direct, shoot, and write. Altogether though, it was a very straightforward shoot day. When it came to being able to direct amazing, talented actors and actresses, and just to be able to work very closely with these people, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. It's hard to be able to kind of enact a short film such as this, but once you have people who are talented, it just makes things so much easier. So you do all of this prep when it comes to practice or pre-production, and you just practice day after day. You run play after play, all until when you get to game day, you know the plays like the back of your hand, and you know what your assignment is. And that's exactly how this short film went. Everybody knew their assignment, and it just went as smooth as I could possibly ask for. And that's all credited because of the amazing actors and the amazing crew that was on. Everything just went very smooth, and especially with pre-production being as intensive as it was for about 2 months, something like this was very easy to shoot. And like I said, having a crew that was very cooperative and also very willing to do this, especially without having a form of any kind of day rate, but just volunteering, it just made that much easier, especially since I know them all personally. Shooting, I don't really have much for shooting, but maybe I'll do a camera breakdown or a lighting breakdown coming pretty soon. But that's all I have for you guys today. That's how I kind of shot, directed, and wrote this film. It was something that was a big feat, but without these people, I would not be able to do this, like I keep saying. So thank you for watching. I hope that you were able to get something out of this. And if you did, let me know what it was down below. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace and blessings.